Chicago Inspector General hopes for urgency to address overtime mistakes. It's a headline you'll find at thecentersquare.com, Illinois, and you can get those headlines in your inbox by going to thecentersquare.com and signing up for the newsletter today. So Jim Talamonte, reporter for the Center Square, reporting out that the Inspector General for the city of Chicago is interested in getting the overtime issues resolved. And you can read the story at the Center Square and also watch some clips of her conversation with Jim Talamonte. We'll air some of those for you here. Just a sample of what she had to say on the issue of just how urgent things should be in this space.
Should some of these people have known to ask questions when money unexpectedly landed in their bank accounts? Probably yes.
So the Inspector General indicating that, there were some overtime payouts that people should have realized it was probably not appropriate. So let's take a look again at Jim's article as we read through. Chicago's Inspector General says she hopes it's urgency in correcting mistakes as the city paid $26.5 million in overtime to potential ineligible employees. Now, the Office of Inspector General found overtime was paid to workers in 24 city departments, and the Elections Board, City Clerk's Office, and City Council from 2020 to 2024. Mayor Brandon Johnson said the city's finance department has already taken corrective actions. Obviously, this is an issue that Johnson has said, and he says it's critical that we eliminate any of the redundancies in any of the repayment errors to ensure that every single tax dollar is accounted for. But Deborah Witzburg, the Inspector General, said that her office first advised the city of the problems 13 years ago. Jim Talamonte, reporting for the Center Square, talking with the Inspector General last week, and she spelled out that indeed there's some things to do and how long it's going to take for them to do it.
This is often the case when we identify things that go wrong in city government, that there is a problem which does not itself live within the four corners of any one city department, and so neither does its solution. There are many of these problems which reach into different city departments, and so their solutions must come from many city departments as well. The Department of Human Resources and the Department of Finance are, as you say, kind of the centralized city functions at the heart of this, but obviously also involved here are all of the city departments for which the employees at issue work. What I am hoping will happen is something that looks a lot like what the city committed to doing 13 years ago when OIG first notified the city of this problem, which is to work with everybody involved, including the city departments at issue, to make sure we've accounted properly in the city's records for people's overtime eligibility status, that we are paying people every dollar of what they are owed and not more than that.
So the issue, obviously, costing taxpayers, and you got to think about just exactly where the city of Chicago is at with their taxpayer spending. It seems like a decade ago, but it was literally last month where about this time we were thinking, well, what's going to happen with the city budget? And as we were approaching Christmas last month, we still didn't know if the city was going to have a budget for January 1st. And the mayor ultimately not signing that budget, just allowing it to go into effect because of all the questions of, the tax and spend, and do they want to increase taxes on higher income earners? How do they do that? The mayor saying that there needs to be progressive revenue and such. So obviously the city's budget's very tight. So $20+ million in overtime. That's something that could be used to shore up the city's budget. And if it's being done inappropriately, then, you've got other issues there. The Inspector General, though, wouldn't say that there was wrongdoing in these cases that she found.
It's important to say here, we did not go looking for, nor did we find any evidence of any individual wrongdoing with respect to this issue. There's no suggestion here that any of these people are stealing overtime or anything like that. I think this is a series of mistakes. The city is not in a place where we can afford an 8-figure mistake. Now, should some of these people have known to ask questions when money unexpectedly landed in their bank accounts? Probably yes.
Now, this isn't just an issue with city government. We've talked about here with Illinois in Focus in previous stories about state agencies, and we looked at some of the payroll records from, for instance, the Department of Children and Family Services, and there's potentially a lot of overtime going there where some employees were making six figures, and we're talking $300,000 plus. more so than the Department of Children and Family Services director even. So that obviously is an issue not just for local governments like the city of Chicago, and I would imagine even smaller governments down to even the city of Springfield's had their problems with overtime issues. This is pervasive throughout government and something that obviously impacts the taxpayers. Department of Corrections in the state government, another area where there's a lot of overtime. And we hear about those during budget season, right? And we'll obviously be looking at that as the legislature starts crafting that budget. But back to the city of Chicago, city taxpayers getting hit with those overtime charges. What's the urgency here? How quick should they attack this? The Inspector General, Deborah Witzburg, talking with Jim Talamonte from the Center Square.
Generously, we get what I would describe as a wide range of quality of responses from City Hall to our oversight products, right? Sometimes we get very productive responses and sometimes we get very unproductive responses. The responses we got here from both DHR and DOF are productive and thoughtful and constructive responses, and I am sincerely appreciative of that. We should all be heartened by that. The responses that the city sent in 2013 were also thoughtful and productive, and here we are 13 years later. So is there a sense of urgency? I hope so. I think the city is in unprecedented budget times. I hope that that is kind of a catalyst to prompt action.
Well, we're always in unprecedented budget times, it seems, in the state of Illinois, as it's not just city taxpayers, but state taxpayers as well getting hit, and a lot of tax dollars that could be going to hiring more people, so you don't have as much overtime, and how those resources could be used elsewhere. As the city grapples with that, the state's going to grapple with it. Your local government's likely is going to grapple with it as well. And it's all a consideration of how the taxpayers are funding this. All right, it is Illinois in Focus Daily. I'm Greg Bishop. Wake up with us each and every weekday morning here for Illinois in Focus Daily, only with the Center Square.